What is going on in the market? It's been a bloodbath. People got liquidated. Everyone's terrified. Do I buy? Should I sell? What does this mean in the big picture of things? In today's video, I'm going to explain what's happening. I'm going to go through it in a chronological order. And then I'm going to explain what the biggest investors are doing and how they see it. I'm going to explain what I'm doing, the lessons I've learned. And I do have some gems for you at the end of this video. One gem for you, and then some validation on previous calls I've made. But okay, if that sounds good to you, let us get started. So first, this is Bitcoin. As you can see, it's at 68,000. People have been terrified, but let's just remember that corrections are normal. Bitcoin's been rallying for almost 90 days straight, and a flush out is just necessary. It's healthy. So what happened at about almost 1 a.m. my time, which makes it about 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, there was an announcement. 475 billion wealth manager Cetera Financial Group approves to offer spot Bitcoin ETFs to its clients. So some pretty huge Bitcoin news. We discovered that there were 3.84 billion US dollars in volume with IBIT. Then there's been this certain Mr. 100 that bought up literally all, like complete the 900 Bitcoin that were mined yesterday. At the time of this video, were completely bought up. Some people thought it was a unique investor, but we have reason to believe it's most likely a sovereign country because, of course, they're going to want to hold their own crypto. And then, breaking news, then we had the liquidations, $400 million worth of longs, including some of my money. Big lesson learned, but the main lesson I walked away with was some validation on what I've been preaching to you guys, which is do not gamble with any money that you're not willing to lose. It's gambling money. So when I woke up and I found out I had been liquidated, it was like a, oh shucks, do people say that anymore? Sort of feeling. It wasn't devastating. Actually, I even completely forgot I had that money on Bybit. So it was validating in that way. So I know I'm on the right track. But of course, it was also a reminder of what it feels like to know when the market is greedy and frothy and when we're at a top. Because that's when I put in all my long positions. So now I know myself, and that's how I would encourage you to see this correction. I mean, hopefully you didn't lose a lot of money. If you did, and if you did, I'm sorry. No, I hope it wasn't money you needed for bills. That'd be horrible. But let this be a lesson learned, because we're still in phase 1 going into phase 2. And there's time. The lessons we learn right now, we can always remember when we enter phase 2, and then we really start reaching the climax of the bull run. So it was a good lesson for myself to remember that the next time I feel encouraged to go put in a bunch of longs, to like check myself and maybe put in like half that much, and definitely like recognize in myself like, oh, interesting. Like if I'm feeling this way, go look at the heat maps. See how the market is doing in general. But these are just good reminders and lessons to be learned right now. But it is sad, people got liquidated, but it's normal. This reset the funding rates, and so now the market is ready for the next pump. And this is just some validation of what I was saying. This gentleman, Oliver, is saying here, I believe Mr. 100, who's been buying BTC in the hundreds per day since November of last year, is a small to medium-sized nation. I'll let you go on to read all about it. But see right here, many nations have learned their lesson the hard way by allowing other nations to hold their assets. In numerous cases, those assets have been confiscated. So I'm from Bolivia, and that hasn't happened in my country, but it's happened in Venezuela, in Argentina, our neighbors. So this is a big, big deal. So all of that to say that it's bullish news on where we're at in the grand scheme of things, in the market, in the global markets. And it's really quite interesting, actually, that despite the fact that we're at all-time highs pretty much, and we're even surpassing all-time highs, the market is not completely crazy yet. And after having been through a bull run, I can tell you that it doesn't feel like a bull run yet. And look at the prices and the all-time highs we're seeing. It's really now, after what just happened, made me realize that I think actually, because some people I think are saying like, oh, we're at the top, or we're like halfway through the cycle already. And I don't think that's true. And today's research really backs that up. I think what we're feeling, it's so quiet. The bull run we're feeling has really been induced or provoked by the ETF inflows, which is by like old money, rich old money, the baby boomers. This isn't like retail yet. So it feels actually like a tsunami is coming. So I would just take the lessons learned, remember how you acted this time, the moves you made right before you got liquidated if you did, and I'm so sorry if you did. Just remember that. And then use that for the next time you're feeling, super greedy and excited to put in a bunch of longs. Like maybe you should put in half, and just remember and make sure that's not money you need for anything important. And see, and this is here James validating what I'm saying, which is that every correction after a significant uptrend starts with leverage being wiped out and then panic selling. Normal. But see, it's all about trends. Like you have to identify the pattern. You don't have to be a pro trader. I'm not a pro trader, but I'm starting to identify, and I can identify patterns. And you have to identify your own patterns, So it says, after today is done, I will once again assume lettuce hands have sent the most amount of Bitcoin to exchanges at a loss. So frankly, it was also validation to me on a personal note, because I looked at my holdings, and yes, I did buy the dip on some tokens. What did I buy the dip on? Bitinsor. And I actually bought into a new token I'll tell you about. But what I'm trying to get at is I looked at my bags and I was happy with my positions for the moment. Okay, because I didn't want to liquidate anything because I'm pretty much at a point where, because I pretty much just, buy and sell and like hold my own tokens, and that's how I like live. And I didn't feel like moving any of my chips around very much. Only there's one token, but I'm not at liberty to share this token yet. So very, very normal. And this is what gives us perspective. If we are, let's read it first. It says, both previous cycles, right? So BTC to BTCUD, or the United States dollar. Both previous cycles took the same time from break of previous all-time high to new cycle, 49 weeks. If durations were to stay the same as last bull run, this would mean our top, this is what I'm trying to tell you, is actually in February of this next year. This is how early we are. If we just follow the patterns, we have a long way to go. So do not despair. That's what I'm here to tell you. Don't despair. You're fine. I hope you didn't lose out a lot of money. Join my community. I will be sharing alpha with you in there every day. I have people to help you if you have questions. And we're early. We're super, super early. So just let's learn our lessons. You buy the dip, and it's when there's corrections that you get validated on what you've been doing right. That was my lesson. Or you realize, okay, thank goodness you're learning this lesson now, so you don't do it later. All right. And then just some validation, Bitcoin has already surpassed gold in investor portfolio allocations, according to JP Morgan. Once again, this bull run's being led by traditional TradFi, old money, So we haven't even begun to feel the effects in like retail crypto market. So this is just to zoom in on, sorry guys, I have my hand occupied at the moment, but you can see my screen. You can see on my screen. This is the general crypto market cap, and we're already at all-time highs, and the bull run hasn't even kicked in. So I'm calling it, I feel like we're doing parabolic numbers, like up here. Like we haven't even begun. We haven't even gotten started. See, tops are hard to call. No one can perfectly call a top tick, but I believe Bitcoin is within the margin of error of a top. This was, look at the time, okay? This was like in right around the time that Bitcoin started to dump. So like this person pretty much called it like right as it was happening. And then he goes on to list out, you know, I believe we have sufficient reason to believe this is a top. And in hindsight, I will say it was obvious. See, he called it. Let's break it down. I mean, we have whiff on a dome, on a sphere. You know, we have a Bowden, which is a good one, by the way. I think the political ones are going to do very good, especially because the elections are coming up. So we have Bowden. When a Bowden meme coin is at 150 million market cap, like, come on. Like, that's not a frothy sign. I don't know what it is. You know, and then we have Solana ecosystem coin going batshit crazy, excuse my language. See exhibit B on Warren for Elizabeth Warren. Like, these are 20 million market cap. Like these are the signs. So that's my hope from this video, is that you identify the signals and the signs of us being like, identify your signs on when you're getting greedy and when you're wanting to put in longs. Identify what's happening in the market before it pops, and that's when things just start flying and there's crazy market caps. Like, that's your sign. Like, have fun, but make sure what you're playing with, you can lose and you will not like want to go jump off a building or anything. See, it just goes on and on. It's a really good one. This is whiff. Mind you, whiff did good. You know what? That's the only long of mine that didn't get liquidated. Whiff. Dog whiff hat. So that's what I'm saying. It's when there's a correction, there's a pullback. Like, think of a tsunami, okay? There's a pullback before the tsunami comes in, right? Like, that's when you see what's really lying around. They say it's like when the water goes down is when you see who's wearing swimming trunks, right? Like, it shows you how you're doing, how your portfolio's doing. How much did you overspend? What tokens, like, held strong and which ones, you know, dumped? And then if they did dump, which ones bounced right back? You know, it's a time of clarity. Okay, I'm not happy I lost money, but I appreciate like the value of what I noticed all around me and in my portfolio during this correction. That's what I appreciate. And then I got to top up, which is awesome. So whiff did great to validate my point from yesterday's video, which is that basically whiff and Pepe are like blue chip. They're like the Bitcoins of meme coins. See, and then this guy is saying, delete anyone that says this is the last cycle or final chance. A massive secular shift. See, in flows is just starting with a much longer term ramifications. I'm not going to go into it because I'm really trying to make the video as short as possible. Next, we will take a look at crypto. I love this website by Ranuner, his Banter Bubbles. It just gives you a visual of how the market's doing. So this is today. Okay, so I'm just going to say it once, like I'm going to say it again and again and again. You need to be like present, notice what's going on, but then always zoom out. And I know most of you know this, but if you're new, this is what you need to. But if you're new, this is what you need to do. You know, don't panic. Zoom in and zoom out. So this is the daily chart, but then on the weekly chart, the good ones are still doing good. Gala, AVAX, you know, BNB, time to top up on these. Jupiter, Rune, which I'm going to get into in a minute. See, this is what Miles is saying. Many altcoins are down double digits today, but I would be even more concerned if the market just went up in a straight line. Flushes are healthy in a bull run to ensure that growth is sustainable. See? A healthy funding reset today. Green. Can you see that on my screen? These are the funding rates. Perfect. It is so interesting. And then once again, these are the tokens. that did good, that held on strong despite the correction. So this is your indicator. If you are in any of these tokens, WIF, Loki, Sol, Near, CFX, Say, AR, like, you know, go top up on these tokens or buy in if you haven't been able to. It's your opportunity, right? And it's days like this, the market really tests your conviction. It's just true. But I think if you know enough about crypto and Bitcoin and the whole like narrative, like you're not actually tested. It's more like your trading tactics were challenged, which is good, you know? See? Market tipping its hand. Just normal, guys. So no one panic. It's your time to go top up, if anything. You'll be fine. Solana doing good. See? The good ones held on strong. Nothing to worry about. And I'm going to go through this quickly, but we have Fred Krueger, I believe he's like a billionaire or something, is completely enthralled by ThorChain right now because it has a beautiful economic model, token economic model, which is reminding me of Paid Networks token economic model, the Launchpad, because they also have an inherent buyback, burnback mechanism to their launches. But ThorChain is interesting. You can get 50% against a loan, a 50% against your BTC, and still have access to your BTC. But there are two things that are amazing. There's no interest rate on the loan or term, and you cannot get liquidated. Sounds too good to be true, but it's definitely real. That's amazing. I'm gonna go use them. I didn't even know. There's a lot to keep up with, you know. You can basically get collateralized loans to 50% of the value without risk of liquidation. There's a burning mechanism when the loan is taken out. 50% of the collateral in Rune is burned, so it obviously has, you know, an increased value effect on the token. It's amazing. It's called the flywheel effect. Go check them out. Amazing. And then this is the gem. I know the market just corrected, but once again, this is when you buy. Its chart is outrageous. It's called Book of Me. Hilarious. And it was rallying like crazy. I didn't jump on it as soon as I heard about it. And actually, this is a reason you should join my community, linked below, because I shared this right away with my community. I bought the dip. And if you're in my community, I will let you know before my videos. So go check them out, Book of Memes. And then there's Cat Whiff Bag, which I still don't entirely think is too funny, but it's been doing very good. So a little correction here. Nice time to buy. See if I can zoom in. Yeah, still a good time. And here you go on CoinGecko, a better view for you. But anyway, this brings me to the end of my video. I hope you enjoyed and gained some value. I hope you feel more reassured. That's even proper English. And just take the opportunity to notice your own patterns as a trader, as an investor. Make sure you catch yourself next time. I leave mental notes for myself. Helps me remember. I just tell myself to remember. And I hope you buy the dip on the good tokens. Bitcoin's not going anywhere. It's just a correction. So nobody be worried. And I can't wait for the next pump. I'm getting in position for this. And yeah, I will catch you guys next time.